Following up on my review on Grandia, here's a review on Grandia 2, seeing as it's another JRPG that shaped my early days of gaming. After playing the first Grandia game, I was delighted to find out that there was a sequel made. Although, it was on the Dreamcast. However, a few years later I picked up a PlayStation 2 magazine, and my god, my mind was blown. Grandia 2 on the PS2. Needless to say, like every other game I married into, it took forever to find. I mean, back then I was living in London and, well, there's game shops all over the place. Yet somehow it took me a year and a half to find the game. And after a year and a half of hunting, it was in one of those shops that looked like it would be open for a matter of 6 months at best. After almost 2 years of waiting, I was ready to see what Justin, Fiona and Sue were up to in their next adventure. So let's see what Grandia 2 brings us. Oh, you are kidding me. My protagonist is a school kid? What the hell, Game Arts? Oh, you guys are fucked up so bad. Oh god. Why did I waste my money on this? Blow 'em up, blow 'em up. Ah, crap. But at least the graphics have improved, I guess. I suppose it's a plus.
Don't let me down,
Ryudo?
Sky.
Who the fuck's Ryudo? What'd you do with Justin? Oh no. They are not doing a Final Fantasy on me. They are not doing a Final Fantasy on me.
Sky, over here!
So yes, as you've just seen, the pulled off a Final Fantasy. None of the characters or locations from the first game were brought back for the sequel. Well, here we go. Grandia 2. After a long intro scene, we start off here with our protagonist Ryudo. To be honest with you, I am glad it's not those school kids. They're an important part of the game. What? You mean they play an integral part of the game's plot? Well, son of a... Anyway, getting back to the game, we have Ryudo and his psychic Sky. Ryudo works as a geohound. They're basically like mercenaries who will do the odd jobs for payments and such. You know, things like retrieving lost and stolen items, or to be a bodyguard. You know, anything really. He's contracted by the Church of Grandia to escort Elena to a place called the Grandia Tower. Not being a man of religion, Ryudo reluctantly accepts this job. However, the job is a failure, as Elena is seen shrouded by a purple cloud in the tower. Elena is a songstress of Grandia and has lived a very sheltered life. She reminds me a lot of Buddha in that sense, that she's lived a life in shelter and eventually gets exposed to the evils of the world. Although throughout the game she gets desensitized to the evils of the world and sees more and more suffering throughout more towns that you go through in the game. She however has an alter ego, Millennia, aka the Wings of Valmar. She's a much darker and eviler version of Elena, mainly due to the possession of power that Elena has. I personally loved this character. She connected with the cynical bastard in me, and throughout the game she had a really interesting development, as well as having a top class voice actress which made her probably my favourite character of the game. Moving back onto Ryudo, our protagonist. As I've already mentioned, he's a geohound. At the start of the game he's a blunt and bitter individual, and well, he's really hard to like, to be honest. Especially with how hard he is on Elena during the start of their adventures. However, like Millennia, he's got an interesting character development, as throughout the game he soon learns to accept other people and learns about such things as love and the human heart. Along their travels they meet a young boy called Rowan. At first he seems to be an annoying little brat and really just a side quest in the storyline, so to rack up some gaming time and to sidetrack you from the main storyline. However, he's another character that really surprised me. Instead of being the annoying child character, we learn about his past, his heritage, and well, all about him throughout the game. He matures really well, although Ryudo will always seem as a little kid who lost his amulet. Later on in the game we bump into a beast man called Marik. No, seriously, they describe him as a beast man. Although he is pretty much the stereotypical beast man. I mean, he's big, brutish, comes from a hidden village where there's holy morals that don't allow outsiders. You get the picture. I'm not going to go into any detail about this character as it's going to spoil a lot of the storyline. So if you want to learn about him, pick up the game and play it. I will talk about the antagonists of this game, but again, if I were to talk about them I'll be spoiling the game. And really, I do not want to be depriving you guys of this wonderful game. As much as I hate for doing a Final Fantasy on me, I am happy that they actually kept the same battle system from the first game. As to be honest, it's the main reason I play these games. That battle system is amazing. However, they fiddled with the magic and the special moves. The one thing that separated it from every other RPG I played. Now, in order to learn moves and magic, you have to spend things called magic coins and special coins, which, to be honest, is just a cop-out way of learning moves. I mean, it requires absolutely no skill, and well, it just removes the fun of having to learn different moves with different levels on the weapons. It just seemed a bit realistic that way, but, well, I'm complaining about realism in a fantasy game, so I can't really say much. Again, the music was done by Noriyuki Iwata. Again, this man does a brilliant job. I mean, it's not as good as the first game as, well, the soundtrack for the first game was phenomenal, but he does a great job in producing a soundtrack that fits the setting. A lot of the lyrical parts actually are done in Portuguese, weirdly enough for a Japanese game. I mean, it's not language I'm well acquainted with, but it sounds beautiful nonetheless. Grandia II was nowhere near as good as the first game, however I still loved it. The storyline was amazing and at times you can get a bit carried away with it. I mean, yeah, they changed a lot in the game, but they kept to the Grandia blueprint and that's all I could really ask for. I know there's a lot of this game I have not reviewed, such as the storyline and that, but I don't want to give away anything. So, well, all I really can say is go out and buy this game.